And so at the age of 16, it's also the year that I got hooked onto the stock market. I systemize everything in my life now. Everything has got processes, and you need to create a process. I actually have a course on this. If you try to create a process, you're going to realize all the areas and the things you're missing that you don't have answers to.
What's the number 2 secret to building wealth using asset reinvesting?
Well, it really comes down to risk and position management. And this is what most people really lack is a lot of things tie in when it comes to the stock market. The stock market has a way of just getting its hooks sunken into you in terms of your emotions. And a lot of people's emotions take over, and then your risk management goes out the window because you're like, well, I just got it. Now it's tanking. I still like it. I'm going to hold on to it. Or people don't want to be proven wrong. If a stop gets hit, they're like, I'll just stay in there. Or if it's making money, and this is what hurts people a lot, is if something's making money, they don't actually start taking profits out and locking in gains and raising their stops, which is, if it turns around, you want to make sure you get out. Problem is, human psychology is you don't want to get out of something that's winning, and you don't want to get out of a loser because then you're proven to be wrong. So that's what happens to the average investor, and why they end up buying low, buying high and selling low eventually when they can't take the pain anymore. And it comes down to managing your position sizing, and having entries, targets, and stops in place and following them. So, for example, when I was 16 years old, my mom dropped me off at the Collingwood Airport, which is where I'm from, and I got my pilot's license. And I remember the day she dropped me off, my instructor said, "Hey, go to the plane. I'll meet you there. You're doing your solo today." And I just remember my heart stopping, going, "Oh my gosh, I have to go flying on my own. This is the big day." And long story short, I get to the runway, I take off, I'm past the airport, and suddenly my emotions are flying high. I'm all over the place, but the training kicked back in. And what did I do? I put my hand on my leg, on my checklist. I look down and I just start working through that checklist at a time when I could not think straight. I was scared. I was excited. It was an unbelievable moment. I worked myself down this checklist. I do the circuit, I land, I pull off. And before I know it, at the age of 16, I remember sitting on the runway going, I cannot believe I just flew a plane and I didn't crash and burn. And it was all because I followed a system. And so at the age of 16, it's also the year that I got hooked onto the stock market. I systemize everything in my life now. Everything has got processes, and you need to create a process. I actually have a course on this. If you try to create a process, you're going to realize all the areas and the things you're missing that you don't have answers to. And by creating a checklist is how you actually create your strategy, because a lot of people think they know what they're doing and they say, I've got this strategy, I do this. But if you start grilling them and saying, what do you do in this scenario? What do you do in this scenario? They're going to realize how many voids and loopholes there are that they're not covered. So this is the second secret, is creating a strategy, systemizing it, following the strategy, and making sure you manage those positions, or else, as we know, investments, if they're not managed, they can derail and they can set you back years or decades. So.